Hi, everybody. Glad to have you with us here in Columbus. Terry Gannon along with Dave Sitton. This is a game that's been played since 1823. Dave, you've been a part of it as a player, a coach, a broadcaster for over 30 years. Take me back to October 9th of 2009 when it was announced that Rugby Sevens will be a part of the 2016 Olympics in Rio. How big a day was that for rugby?
Terry, it was a massive day worldwide for the sport of Rugby Sevens. It took a charge, an electric charge, and no more so than in the United States. Americans love to play for gold. And these student athletes this weekend want to take part in that gold medal effort.
For the Americans, those watching this afternoon who may not be all that familiar with Rugby Sevens or maybe don't watch rugby all that much, what about the rules, the laws of the game as they're called in rugby?
Well, let's not forget that rugby begat American football, but in this game, 7 players per team. That's a lot of real estate to cover. They play for 7-minute halves. That's how grueling the sport is. No forward passes, but every player on the team must be proficient at passing and catching, all of them. There is no blocking, hence less injury. Now, the try is the touchdown. It's awarded when a player actually grounds the ball in the opposition's goal. It is worth 5 points, and the conversion right after is worth 2 points. So a converted goal is 7. A drop kick or a penalty kick, a field goal, if you will, is worth 3.
And back to that try for a moment, it does have to be a touchdown. Literally, you have to touch it down to get the 5 points on the board. It is pool play. 16 teams divided into 4 different pools. Pool A, B, C, and D. You play each team in your pool once throughout the first couple of days, trying to get into that championship bracket tomorrow afternoon. San Diego State and Tennessee, the first matchup that we will see this afternoon here on NBC. Arizona, 2 0-1s moved on. We'll see the great rivalry, Army and Navy today.
Absolutely. That is as big as the football game, trust me.
And in Pool A, Cal has just been dominant so far. They've won 25 national titles in 15s rugby. Now they take on Dartmouth, who comes in at 2-0. And then finally from Pool D, the matchup, Ohio State and Penn State.
You know, what's interesting about this for this home team, Ohio State, this is a big match because in rugby, Ohio State, Penn State is the rivalry.
Absolutely. Third member of our crew is Jimmy Roberts. He'll be down on the field throughout the afternoon. Jimmy, as the rugby world looks ahead to 2016 and the Olympics, they do so with a certain sense of history.
Well, Terry, you're absolutely right. You mentioned it just a moment ago. Rugby is headed to Rio in October, along with golf. It was voted into the games. But the strange thing is that what's new is actually old because, well, rugby was a part of 4 of the first 7 modern Olympic Games, having been a favorite of Baron Pierre de Coubertin, the man who founded the modern games. Matter of fact, if you go back to 1920 and 1924, the last 2 times that rugby was part of the schedule, the United States actually won the gold medal, as you look at some footage from back then. And so that sets up kind of an odd circumstance because 6 years from now, when we head to South America and to Rio de Janeiro, after a 92-year hiatus, the defending gold medalist will actually be the United States. And it's also another interesting point to consider. Every time previously that rugby had been in the Olympic Games, it was 15 on 15, but not this time around. It'll be 7 on 7, the same game they're playing here this weekend. So what that means is that this weekend, a number of the players that you'll be watching likely to be playing for the United States in Rio. Terry?
And Jimmy, the U.S. an emerging nation in Rugby Sevens under the raindrops at San Diego State, Tennessee, straight ahead. So the Wildcats getting set to take on the Sun Devils, and we check out the starting 7 for Arizona, a team you know very well. You're the regular 15s coach there.
Yes, and an outstanding young man, Chris Crone, a former All-American at Arizona, the head coach today. And you take a look at the Thompson brothers today, one at Arizona. He scored a try against Navy, turned out to be pivotal for the Wildcats as they come into this match 1-0-1. They beat Navy and drew with Army. Now, name is familiar. On the Sun Devil side of the ball today, there's another Thompson. His name is Ryan. He scored a try against Army today. That's right, the brothers. And to make it even more interesting, the head coach of the Sun Devils for Sevens is Salty Thompson, the 2 boys' father. Beth is in the stands. It's an all-Thompson affair.
That's
from
right.
Arizona.
You wonder who she's rooting for this. I guess you can't lose or can't win. It depends on how you look at it. But Salty Thompson, backs coach with the U.S. national under-19 team and under-20 team, and has been around the game for a long time. So is his 2 sons. All right, underway. Arizona kicks it deep to start.
Go ahead through, Blue. Go through.
Now they're going to challenge the Sun Devils with Arizona's 6-1 defense. You see Moxness is deep like a...
That's fine.
And there's the interception, and it was Thompson who took one away. He rolls in, and he will score the try to Arizona.
On cue, coming off the starting lineups and being highlighted. Brett Thompson, the freshman from Tempe.
That's fine.
Boy, where was he passing it to?
That's the Arizona strategy, was to test the Sun Devils early, put them in their own end, see what happens, and there was Brett right in the right place at the right time. Now his dad might not like it.
Hold foul.
At least at the moment. Maybe later on watching it on tape.
There's Moxness conversion. 2 games in a row we've seen these kickers hit the pipes.
Here we go, boys.
Then Moxness, the captain, senior from Minnesota.
Remind him to
So
stay
he hits the
behind you,
upright,
yeah?
and it's
Remind him to
5-0
stay behind you.
Arizona.
Interesting story about Brett as you see them there. He's a reserve linebacker on leave from the Arizona football program. But this is a kid who started playing rugby because of his dad at 13 years old. And he might have a sniff as a freshman looking toward 2016.
Yeah, a number of these players, Al Caravelli is the U.S. National Sevens coach, and he's been here throughout the week taking notes, doing some scouting, and a number of these names may figure prominently in Rio.
No, you're playing that off the ground. That's
Penalty
off the
against
ground.
Arizona. Ball was on the deck. You have to release it there. There's the head coach.
You know, I talked to him before the game. So many similarities to the game of football. He said the biggest thing to adapt to is actually the conditioning. As a football player, you're conditioned to go 20, 30 seconds, stop, rest, do it again. In rugby, you don't stop.
Never, except when the whistle blows. That's, you know, it's interesting for these players. One of the things they have to learn, there's nothing you see that'll tell you to stop. You have to wait for a referee's whistle. Take nothing for granted. And as you see this exchange, these kids now have been running for about a midnight, 60, 70 seconds, sprinting like this.
Moxness breaks through. No one ahead of him. Nothing but green. They're trying to run him down, and they can't. Another try.
The merciful dive into the try zone. Arizona goes up by 2 tries.
Scored by Wildcats number 6, Tim Moxness.
Again, just a good play and a good step. Moxness, matter of fact, an under-19s player for the United States national team before entering the University of Arizona, senior co-captain of the 7 side, and has done a magnificent job in leadership over the past month.
Now he's got to gather his breath for the conversion. He's the man who handles the kicks.
A little bit too much to ask after that gallop. Nonetheless, Arizona with 2 tries, they lead this 10-0.
Wildcats some momentum during the regular season. You got it going after February 6th and a loss then.
Yeah, take a quick look at Chris Crone, the 2-time All-American at Arizona. While he was a collegiate player at Arizona, he played for the United States national team that upset Fiji. He scored the winning try. Now he's the head coach at Division II University of Santa Clara.
So Arizona State.
Both and Arizona, both coached by outstanding sevens people, Salty Thompson and Chris Crone.
No advantage there.
Knock on by
knock
Arizona
forward by
State
White in the
after the tackle. They allowed the advantage to go. So in other words, the referee will see that Arizona State did knock it on, but if Arizona can gain an advantage, he's going to let the play continue.
Square and steady, boys. We need to
Went back to the point of the infraction.
Go.
Folks will get an opportunity now. We'll listen to the referee. He'll actually control the scrum.
Crouch. Touch. Pause. Engage.
That's for safety
Steady.
purposes. Sun Devils pushing just a
Steady again.
little bit early.
Hold the push so the ball's there. Let's go. Here we go. Come. Let's go. Crouch. Touch. Pause. Engage. Get it up.
Good pressure by the Sun Devils. Nice play by Brett Moore to get it back into the backfield.
Brett Moore swings it out to Chris Elkins.
Elkins, another former Arizona football player.
No hands. Back foot, White. Back up. Give me a step, White. Hold.
Good work by Arizona in the ruck. Sun Devils get to set up their defense, though.
And you mentioned Elkins making that switch from football to rugby. Last season was their rookie of the year. The Wildcats outside Carl Jensen, the foot speed. He gets to the try line. That's another 5 on the board.
Jensen around the edge. Nice work by Arizona, starting with the scrum. Good little switch movement there. Change of direction. This is Brett Thompson setting up Jensen. Jensen scored the try against Army that drew Arizona even with the Black Knights. And the outstanding high school football player from Idaho with his second try of the weekend.
So Moxness,
You got about 20.
another conversion try. He was just told he got about 20. So again, he's going to try to catch his breath before he makes this attempt. You got 40 seconds for the kick overall, and he seems a bit winded.
Well, that's at the point. There are no specialists in this game. Moxness, as you've seen, has been galloping all over the place, tackling people, running with the ball, being a leader out there. You take again a look at Carl Jensen. Spent a year at sea, being educated last year. He came back to play for a senior year. Now, Salty Thompson is not going to let this Sun Devil team lay down. Trust me, with the maroon and gold against the red and blue, they will not die.
Coming in, Salty Thompson had a definite plan in terms of the players that he chose for this 7 squad. He said, I want speed. Even over talent or rugby skills, I need guys who can run. Right now, they're being outquicked.
Now is tossed forward in the tackle, in touch. Arizona will have a scrum in the waning seconds of the first half. It was interesting. I had a chance to visit with Coach Thompson, and his observation that this particular pool is the tightest, and prior to this game, all of the scores would indicate that. Nobody's won by more than a single score in the series. The Sun Devils had a heartbreaker loss in Game 1 against Navy. They lost on a try on the final play.
Arizona State 1-1, Arizona 1-0-1.
Touch. Pause. Engage.
Moore, the senior halfback. Nice movement back to the scrum. Get the ball. It's Thompson. Arizona doesn't want to make a mistake here at the end of the half. There will be another knock-on.
That fell to that. To knock on, that'll be half.
And that will result in the halftime intermission.
Salty Thompson can't be a happy man. Maybe happy later on for his son Brett Moore, who's already had a try for Arizona, but it has been all Wildcats in this one. 15-0 over Arizona State. Here in Columbus, the rain has stayed away. Stormy first half for Arizona State, though. They trail 15-0. Their rivals Arizona controlling the opening half. We talked about the positions overall in rugby. How about in sevens, Dave?
Well, very similar to American football. Those props became offensive guards, the hooker, the center. That's why the ball in American football goes between the legs of the center. Scrum half is one of the shared quarterback positions along with fly half. There really are 2 quarterbacks in this game, both in 7s and in 15s. Running back is the center, and the wing, pretty much a wide receiver. Jerry Rice would have done very well out there.
Going to come in wide with that speed and try to score if you're one of the wings. Although, overall, the 7s game as opposed to the 15s game, you got to do a little bit of everything, right?
You do, and what's happening now is as athletes are trained better to be stronger upper body and run faster, this is going to become even more so a fast man's game. It's been evolving as well on the international scene, and you can tell where it's headed. Strong, fast bodies. Coach Caravelli of the United States team will tell you that.
Roll out of there, White. Get back 10, White, back 10, White. Don't touch him. Don't touch him.
Arizona with the quick tap after the penalty, and that's one of the options you get. Here's Jensen again, one to beat. Saving tackle as he went into touch. It'll be a Sun Devil. Whoa, what a tackle at the end there.
Nothing quick here,
saving a try.
Thank you, Rian.
Stevie Johnston.
One of the captains, a junior from Gilbert, Arizona. Watch this. Just getting the foot. Yeah, he was gone otherwise.
That's fine.
Good line out work by Arizona State to keep that possession. Now they've got some room on the narrow side. Be a battle at the halfway line. The Sun Devils cross it, I believe, for the first time with possession in this match.
That was Feng Kui, who is a junior from Brisbane, Australia. Still has it, now gets it out.
Arizona State, you saw the referee indicate they're playing with advantage. There was no advantage. They weren't allowed to move it forward, so they got a little free time there. And now a quick tap on the penalty. You'll see that quite a bit in 7s, where you're not likely to see that in 15s. They want to make this game move quickly. And remember, as we pointed out, it takes more energy to play defense than offense.
Rashad Saleem, a sophomore from Phoenix, the fastest guy on the team, but in touch. Out of bounds.
You want to get an idea just how tough that is. You saw Carl Jensen at the other end of the field with the ball in hand on the exact opposite side. Now he had to come over as that wing and make the play on this near sideline. So that young man, offensively and defensively, just ran about 200 meters. And this goes on the entire match, folks.
It's about 30 seconds right now. That's about it. A couple of substitutions. Travis Hughes in for Arizona State. Robert Cardiff, junior from Palm Desert, California, in for the Wildcats.
Yeah, Robert Cardiff is a second-generation rugby player. His dad played in Southern California in the regeneration era of the 60s and 70s. And Robert, the halfback, will be throwing the ball in. Brett Moore, who had been the halfback, is going to go play fly half.
Saw that shot a moment ago. It's Charles Esterhuizen, who was banged up. And we're working on him.
All right, we're going to talk about the mark a little bit. The referee will point where the ball must be restarted, and as a result of the misplay by Arizona in the lineout, it has to start at that hash mark. Arizona State started off. Yeah, that's exactly right. The mark on the place in the pitch where the game restarts.
Nate Powell had it, lost it, gets it back.
But when he lost it forward, he knocked it on. As a result, the Wildcats have the scrummage.
And it does, you can miss that sometimes because it doesn't matter how much forward you knock it. It could be a centimeter or 10 feet. It's a knock-on.
Wherever the ball goes toward your try line. But although Arizona has the put in, they're very much in a defensive mode right now at this end of the field.
Right out the tunnel will stay blue.
The ball has to be hooked by the hookers. It came right out that tunnel again, therefore never legally restarted.
Time is off. Blue 5 off.
And that hooker uses his leg
Here we are, boys.
to hook the ball. How much of an advantage is it to control the scrum?
In every facet of this game, still, whoever wins the scrum ball is likely to win the game. It's just like right now, Arizona's poised to have the possession. If they lose it right now, they're in a defensive mode. We already talked about it. Takes a lot more energy. Arizona in a lot of trouble. There's your knock-on. Ball squirts around, kicked by Jensen. Since the knock-on occurred in the try zone, Arizona State will have a put-in 5 meters out. That's a standard operating procedure.
Here we are, boys.
And Arizona very fortunate as Jensen, under pressure, panicked a little bit, tried to kick it. So the Sun Devils now with a golden opportunity to get on the scoreboard. 5-meter scrum against the Wildcats.
Out to Johnston. Looking for help, doesn't need it now. Taken down, but gets across the line, and Arizona State is on the board.
Credit the Sun Devils for keeping Arizona under pressure after that scrummage a moment ago. To get this, just too much. One-on-one down here, puts a shoulder down. I'm not going to let you stop me. Chris Elkins in for the try go the Sun Devils. The conversion is good. Sun Devils down by 2 scores.
Yeah, white 9, you're off. White 9, you're off.
Johnston with the try and the conversion. 5'11", 215 put together. Tough to stop at that try line.
Cardiff's going to pick it up for the Wildcats. This is Getzler, an outstanding kicker for the 15s team. Came as a kicker at the Arizona football program to start. Elkins follows Sullivan, young man who was all-state at football and track and field in the Phoenix area at Brophy Prep, and they did not allow him to play the ball, so a major penalty against Arizona State.
And Sean O'Sullivan, number 11, the man who was carrying the ball, senior, and his dad was a star football player at Arizona.
Hard-hitting defensive back, his dad.
Speaking of hard hits.
Yep, Elkins going to try to clean it up. Doesn't do it. Sun Devils on with the turnover ball. Sergei Pittman with that hit. That gives it to O'Sullivan. Don't forget, he was a track guy.
Run down from behind, though. Johnston's got some speed, too.
Great defense by Johnston, not allowing O'Sullivan to throw the pass. Tied up his arms. Brilliant play. But Arizona's still attacking. Be careful of that cross pass. Cardiff threw a pass like that against Navy, and Navy knocked it on. He did it against the Sun Devils as well, and you just can't throw that crossfield pass. It doesn't work very well in gridiron, and it doesn't work in this either.
Here we are, fellas. Let's go. Scrum here. Come on, boys. Crouch, touch, pause, engage. Stay off of 9.
Sun Devils are going to have to make something happen on this possession if they want to get back into this game.
Well, the stiff arm just freeing him up momentarily, and it's in touch.
That's Ryan Thompson, one of the heroes of the game against Army for Arizona State.
Knock that out. I think they're knocking it forward. Okay. Scrum here. Blue hand.
Was a knock-on before the ball went into touch, so they go back to that play. That'll give Arizona State a scrum just outside 22 meters. Desperate time for the Sun Devils now as they trail by 8 points.
Here we go. Stay off of. Crouch, touch, pause, engage. 9, stay on touch.
You hear the horn, but the time off the clock. Play continues.
Till Arizona State exhausts this possession, and that might have done it. No, they call it no knock. Ball went straight down or backwards, so there's no knock on a good wrestling match now.
No, you're on the ground. Get out, Booth. Now,
All right.
Back 10. Back 10.
Arizona, Mike Getzler charged on the ground playing the ball. If you're not on your feet, you can't play the ball. That's going to be your knock-on probably to end the contest.
Cross forward. That's going to be game, fellas.
Exactly it. So they flew on the same flight, Phoenix to Columbus, and these two rivals just 100 miles apart.
It was all Arizona in the opening half. A 15-0 lead. Arizona State able to get on the board, but that's it. It's a man's game, so you want to play rugby sevens? Yeah.